Lara, I feel I'm failing somewhat in my duties as the ringmaster for tonight. Run just through for us again exactly.
Yes.
Because what drives me crazy is when I hear pieces and say, I'm going to,
I know.
I used to say, buy that, and now download that. Tell us exactly the 4 pieces we heard.
Anniversary for Felicia,
Right.
on our 28th birthday and her 52nd. Then Greeting, which is from Arias and Barcarolles, which was written for Alexander. Then what? Then Innocent Psalm for the Bernstein Baby, which was written by Mark Blitzstein, friend of LB, friend of the family. And then last was Anniversary for Nina.
Fantastic.
So that's everybody.
It's
Not the dogs.
Family. The idea of family and friends and community is obviously one that meant a great deal to Bernstein, and continues to mean a great deal to us, to those of us who listen to him, having been immersed for much of the past year in Bernsteiniana. It's one of the things that is bound to impress us, and I think leave us longing for a lost time, a time of an enormous, in every sense, concert among musicians. I know that's one of the things that draws you to Lenny, right?
Yes, in fact, at one point I made an album called Some Other Time, which focused on music of Bernstein and Copland and all of these American composers who were writing in the 30s and 40s, because in my mind it is such a golden era of American music and culture, and a time when all of these things were more integrated into daily life, I think.
Yes, it's certainly a time when the line between what was accessible to it was the high era of middlebrow, which we now look back on somewhat sniffily, but it actually should look back on only enviously, because I got to grow up at the very tail end of that era. Perhaps I'm its last remaining representative, actually. And part of the joy of that era was we watched Leonard Bernstein on television every month, giving a brilliant young people's concert. That's where my tastes in music were formed. Yours too, I think. Well,
I mean, that to me is kind of the crowning example, that there was a generation of American children who were raised watching Leonard Bernstein's young people's concerts on their black and white TVs. And I mean, I cannot play Bernstein's music in public without a handful of people coming to me afterwards and saying, I watched the young people's concerts as a kid, and it changed my life, and it really did, and that was mainstream, and that to me it's astonishing, I
don't think I ever told you this. The one time I got to meet Lenny, actually, once at a luncheon, and I told him that I had grown up listening to those things, and he kissed me. So it was a positive response. We're going to talk now about. You're going to play some pieces that are from the Bernstein Circle that represent, in the same way that we talk about the Schubert Circle or something, this circle of fellow composers and writers around him.
The crowd he ran with. They were pretty cool.
We don't run, it's true. We generationally, and you're much younger than I am, we don't really run with crowds in the same way, right? We text each other from either end of the country, and that's as close to a shared collaboration as we often get.
It's really true. I mean, funny enough, I think in the world of musicians, because we're such strange, isolated creatures and we're always on airplanes, all of this, social media, all of this ease of communication is a good thing, and in a weird way, it's building community again. But when you think about these kinds of relationships, I've been reading the Leonard Bernstein letters, I know you have too. These letters where artistic collaboration and creative idea generating and friendship, was happening on a piece of paper that we still have, because it's in a book now.
Yes. Well, someone will publish our text someday,
sure
Lara, the Downes Gopnik text, right? You're running a little late. Just 5 more, and the rest of them. When you were making this album, though, one of the things that makes it beautiful is that it is a community effort. It's you and friends. Was it difficult to get everybody into a studio together? Were you working at long distance?
Because nobody's interested in Bernstein is the thing. No, this was, logistically you mean.
Yes. Yeah.
Logistically, it was a bit challenging. The creative energy was effortless and seamless and boundless. Logistically, yes, because of this, because we're all so far flung. We had recording sessions. The one that you saw in the video happened in LA. We had sessions here, in New York, North Carolina, and Paris, France.
Oh,
just because that's where we could all get together.
Finally get together.
Yes.
Well, that's the positive side of globalization. Tell us what you're going to play, the pieces by Bernstein Circle.
Yes, anniversaries for Aaron Copland, Stephen Sondheim, and Lucas Voss.
Fantastic. All by Leonard Bernstein.